What is up, YouTube? That's here. Today we're back doing more Patreon team fixing for VGC 2023 Series 2. This is a super cool team that uses Hydreigon and Iron Jugulis. Before we get into this one, add the rental code that's right here. This team they submit is actually really good. This team can get you to Master Ball. Great rental team. Think about adding it. It has Talon Tusk. It has a little bit of double Hydreigon action with Arcanine Gastron on the back to be super standard. If we take a look at this team and the official team submission post after I moved my big face out of the way, this is the official team submission post on Patreon. Every single person that's part of the Patreon, even the lowest tier, gets access to this. If there's a team that you want me to fix, take a look at, and polish up to actually make shine for Series 2 or Series 3 if you really need some help with that as well, think about checking out the link in the description to this little post. I would greatly appreciate it. Every single help on Patreon really does help me pay my bills and actually make this my full-time job. So if you're at all even interested, think about checking it out. That's all I ask. This is the official team submission post. This is done by F-Bomb. This is Double King Ghidorah. Double King Ghidorah. They sent me a poke paste with this as well, which we'll be taking a look at and polishing up a lot of these EV spreads and move sets. But what I really like is how in-depth they are. They said each Pokemon's roles. They said why they want to run these Pokemon. I love that you guys are so deliberate in what you actually want these Pokemon to do. It shows that you're really using your noggin, and it shows that you all really want to get better, which is so good, and I'm going to do my absolute best to help. I love all the Hydreigon stuff. I love the Jugulis. I even love that they showed replays. I watched all these replays to understand a little bit more about the team, and so I just want to say I love how in-depth you guys are, and hopefully I can make the team work a little bit better in some matchups that I think might be a little bit hard. I do really like this team, and if we go back and take a look at the official rental code right here, it's doing a lot of things right. I think the charge beam on the Jugulis might end up being a little bit weird. I think the flash cannon on the Hydreigon and the Hydreigon Terra might be a little bit weird, but I'm going to play some games with it and see what I think. I think the Gastron set's also a little weird, but like that Arcanine's clean. Great Tusk is clean. Jugulis, for the most part, is really clean and a Pokemon I've been really excited to use. So what we're going to do right now is just hop into some games, play a couple games of rental code, see what I think about it, and then we're going to fix the team and play even more games with it on Showdown. So wish me luck. Here we go. Okay, I wonder if they actually have Perish on that team. They have Goth. They have Flutter Mane. They also have like T-Tar and stuff. Gotta watch out for that T-Tar. T-Tar could be an issue. I think Gastrodon is actually a really good mon here. I think like Gastrodon, Hydreigon, if we actually surround the if we like bring up Talonflame to make the Hydreigon faster and stuff, could be really good. There's also nothing really wrong with Arcanine, but I don't want to lead Arcanine and proc the King Gambit. So let's see. What would we lead with? We have Steel Terra on our Jugulis, but we don't have any good moves versus Flutter. What about our Gastron? I'm looking at the boost here. Actually, I really like Gastro Jugulis. That sounds really good with a little bit of Hydreigon in the back. And I do think that there's situations where like Talonflame is amazing, but I think Tusk is probably pretty good in the very back. I don't think we need a ton of speed control here. We might. It's possible they lead with like a Roaring Moon board and they try and get like a ton of speed control. But I think more often than not, they're going to actually just rely on the fact that they have general good speed control already. They have like, you know, Flutter Mane and Roaring Moon are faster than all of our Mons combined. So they probably don't think they need to have better control. And what we're going to do is actually just try and whittle those two Mons down and then try and just outspeed things like T-Tar and King Gambit. That's the idea behind this. We also have like Icy Wind on Gastron, which is really good here, which is why we're leading with it. I'm taking a look at the rest of the team. Headlong Rush, Close Combat, Earthquake, Protect on that Tusk. It's an Adamant Tusk. Okay, gotta watch out for that. I would have liked to see the Jolly here, just to force the Arcanine to be Jolly as well, but it's okay. Goth Flutter Mane, very standard lead. Like, they can totally try and perish this here. I don't think we have Ghost Terra on anything. Fire Terra, Gastrodon, Poison Terra, Iron Jugulis, sorry. And we're getting a speed boost. And if they don't have a speed boost, they got a booster. Is it speed or special attack? Special attack. Okay, cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So that means they're not sashed as well, which means we can go hard into those slots. Don't need to Terra here. I think you just Icy Wind, because I think Icy Wind's still a good play. We are trapped as well. So like the only other options would be something like I just realized as well, like we have all these cool things to do here if we have like want to go for Surfs, but we don't really have any moves that deal damage. We don't have like Earth Power. We'd have to be Ancient Powering. I don't really like that very much, but it's still kind of cool. We're going to go for the Icy One in case they want to pivot in, and we're just going to drop a Protect. Reason why we're doing this is because we don't want to get fake outed by that Gothitelle and just destroyed. We also don't need to reveal our Terra just yet, and if they nuke our Gastron off the board, we're going to be fine. There's also like no reason for them to fake out the Gastrodon. Gastrodon's most common item right now is actually like a cloak in a lot of situations. Sub there is dangerous AF. Holy moly. Holy moly. It'd be really cool if we crit broke that, but I don't think we can. That is... They did that to block Yawn, by the way. Great play. I love what they're doing there. We are going to have to... Let's check out this Gastrodon EV spread. We don't have any investment in those stats. Nothing really to clear Smog. We can't pivot, so we might as well just double into that. And we're going to go for a Charge Beam, because this should be able to break it. And I want to see what they do with Goth. If they want to go, like, Protect, Flutter, and Trick Room, oh my gosh, that would just be the end of the world, wouldn't it? That'd probably be the end of the world. They're withdrawing Goth, so now our Gastrodon's free to leave if we do feel so inclined. In for the Roaring Moon. Let's see if they're protecting. I love protecting after sub. That's probably my favorite thing to do in the whole world. We don't have a great matchup versus Roaring Moon if they don't Terrastalize it away. Dragon Dark is a sticky typing to deal with. And they're going to have speed control once we get some Icy Winds. So let's see what they want to do. If they're protecting here, they cannot go protect Tailwind next turn. So we hit our Charge Beam. 70% chance to give us a +1 special attack boost right here. 70%. We get the 70. It used to be 50, I think. There's the Deep Gleam. It's not going to be doing a ton. It's a good amount, but not a ton. And we also get an Ancient Power. Can we get a proc? 10%. 10%! Let's do it. Oh, wow. The sub was still alive after the Charge Beam. Oh, thank goodness. I didn't know the sub was still there. Dude, that is scary. All right, so we have the plus on the Iron Jugulis now, though. And they have to be afraid of, like, a Steel attack, because, like, we do potentially have it. But we can switch. I think what we're going to do is just Icy Wind here and go for... Let's see. Dark Pulse is more damage, but this can flinch. I don't think we even need the flinch. I think we're just going to go for the Dark Pulse in the Flare Wind slot. If you want to go Protect, Flutter, and Tailwind, I'll fight that road when I get to it. It's the right play if you have that perfect combination, like Protect, Sub, and Tailwind with all these mons. It would be really good if you had it, but we'll see. I'm keeping your Flutter main honest right now. About as honest as I can keep it. They're big thinking. And I think we can... Yeah, okay, cool. I'm happy. Hopefully this gets the KO. Oh! At least he's 2-0 to sub. At least they're 2-0 to sub. Oh my gosh, so much damage. Dazzling will get the KO, but then we're going to trade... Ah, that's so much health on our Gastro. I actually don't even know if we get the KO on the Flutter with this Icy Wind. I don't think we do. But we do get to hit the Roaring Moon. So like, those two mons should be slow enough to get KO'd by the Tusk, I would say. Yeah, they got a special attack boost on Flutter, so they should be slow enough for us to come in with our Great Tusk and get the win. Yeah, I think that's probably okay. EQ finishes off Flutter, really chunks that Roaring Moon. I think I'm just going to pivot out for Hydreigon. If I don't outspeed here, that would just be really not great, but I think that we do. I'm just going to go for the EQ. We could Headlong Rush or Close Combat into the Roaring Moon. I think this is fine. I think it's still a 2-shot on Roaring Moon, so I think this is okay. And that Roaring Moon, because of the Icy Wind, is slow enough to be able to take out from our Great Tusk. So we should be fine. We should be fine. That Throat Chop did a lot, though. They're big thinking. They're probably pivoting. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a pivot here. Bring back in the Goth. Maybe drop a Protect. The next turn go for Fake Outs and stuff like that. I think we'll still be fine. There's the Goth. Goth does not want to eat this. They were really thinking we were going to go for Close Combat there. And we're just going to split the damage correctly. Hydreigon is a great mon to bring in this exact situation, too. As long as we outspeed that Flutter, which I think we do when they're at -1. Protect. I still think we got it. Because both these mons should outspeed the Flutter. Hydreigon's EVs are... Ooh, it only has 4. Hydreigon does not outspeed that Flutter. That's really bad. And it can't Protect because it's vested. Ugh. That's really, really bad. We have to protect the Great Tusk, and I think we just swap back in the Gastro, and we have to like fodder Gastro. Oh, we can't be switched out Toad. This is bad. This is really bad. What a weird moveset. I'm going to go for the Snarl, and I'm actually just going to Protect here. I really think you need to preserve your Sash in this situation. If you Fake Out and D-Gleam, like if you Fake Out and KO the Hydreigon, like that was fine. Like, we know that that's a good play. Fake out. I mean, what am I going to do? Like, Hydreigon couldn't have outsped you. Why didn't you fake out the Tusk? That's such a weird play from them. Why did they fake out Tusk? Because we knew we had to eat that. We knew we had to eat Dazzling anyways, but like this way just makes it like so much more unsafe. We actually lived, and we did outspeed. That's so weird. That must be like a full bulk Flutter Mane for our Hydreigon to outspeed. Either way, we're fine going like Snarl and Earthquake here, I think. What do you even do? I cannot believe this Hydreigon's outspeeding that Flutter, by the way. It should not be outspeeding it at all. We only have like 4 points in speed. We'll see. They got a Roaring Moon in the back. They have not terastallized yet, but we're double dipping like so many different types of moves here. We're basically going to be able to get a double KO, and then they're going to have to bring back in the Roaring Moon and something, and then maybe the fact we have a Sash means we'll be fine. I cannot believe they didn't fake out. EQ, cool. They're just going to let us take KOs. As long as we hit this Snarl into the Goth, we're fine. Cool, we didn't need it. Good, good, good. So we Snarl for nothing. It would have been sick if we had like Tailwind there. That would have been great. So we have a low HP Gastrodon, a full Sash. I'm trying to think of like what they could have that would give us issues here. We haven't seen their Terra yet, and I'm assuming that they have to have something weird. Terra on that Roaring Moon. I think that Roaring Moon's not Flying Terra because it didn't use a boost energy, so it's not going to be like Acrobatics. King Gambit, okay. I think it's probably Steel Terra Roaring Moon. Otherwise, that's why they switched it to Goth, because they really are turning on our close combat. So in this exact situation, I'm going to try the Snarl Protect. Not Snarl. Sorry. Bulldoze. I don't care about your attack stat on your King Gambit, by the way, either. And let's see what we can get done. If we can make that Roaring Moon slower than our Great Tusk, we win the game, by the way. So let's see it. There's the Terra. That's all I wanted to see was the Terra. I actually want the King Gambit to see if they go Flying Terra. Oh, Terra here. Terra here. And it is flying. I'm so surprised because, like, what is its item? Cool. Now I know which attack slots to go after. We can't bulldoze that slot, so that sucks. But they should just be attacking the Hydreigon, because it's pretty obvious. Sucker Punch. Hey, absolutely fine. Let's see if they're actually doing anything off this. Orb. Wow. Acrobatics, but you didn't... do you just not have an item? It's very weird. We still do a lot of damage to that thing with close combat. Like, a lot. I think the right play would be something like close combat, the King Gambit, just to get it off the board. If you want to go Sucker Punch plus Acrobatics into Great Tusk, you probably win. But we'll figure it out. Yeah, it's a good play from our opponent. This Acrobatics probably takes us out. If it doesn't, I think we can get the win. Great Tusk is thick. I don't know if you've used your item. Oh, we hold, boys. So we're going to take this guy out. That's going down. This Icy Wind's going to pop into the Roaring Moon. And the way that I see this going is we stick this Icy Wind. Maybe we should have Ancient Powered, but like I wanted to make you slower than our Great Tusk. We got to hit. Yeah, we had to hit that. Oh my gosh, so important. Awesome, good damage. And so I'm looking at this now. You don't want to go for like a double protect or like a passive play because they can get way too much value out of it. You could go protect Great Tusk and recover, and I think that might be something worth doing. Because what else would they do? Throw Chop into the Gastrodon? Would that even get the KO? It might. I think you just go for like Ancient Power into the slot, and I think we do Outspeed now. We should. And so we'll just close combat. It's not that much damage, but I think this is probably enough. I might need to protect this and go for a recover. You know what, we're fine. I'm just going to get the boost off Ancient Power, boys. A lot of damage. Ancient Power is more damage than Icy Wind. And I want to see who they're actually hitting. It's very important. They're Acrobatics in that slot. So I guess I could have went for the Protect. Oh, they're actually getting Gastro. Yeah, I made the right play, and they crit. I made the right play, double attacking link. This is definitely going to be game. Yeah, we just win now. Boosts? Never lucky. I can't believe we actually came back and won that one. We got a little bit overextended, and it just shows how good this team is. We were able to still come back and win on ranked, just because, like, Great Tusk Gastrodon is so good in the late game. Okay, a little bit of Trick Room. I think in these sort of situations, it might seem good to lead Arcanine, but we don't have Wisp, right? We have Heat Wave and Overheat, so we can't even really lead Arcanine versus this. And we don't have, like, the big Dark Pulse on Hydreigon, which you would normally want to lead versus these sort of things. So something like Jugulis is fine, but we don't really have a way to play around Mental Herb on the Fargiraffe. I think you could lead Talonflame, that has Wisp. So, like, Talonflame and Great Tusk are okay. They're what we're going to do, but I don't know how right they are. We are going to bring... do I bring Arcanine here? That's such a weird sell. I think you have to do it, though. I don't want to bring Arcanine. Arcanine's boring. It's fine, I'll still bring Arcanine. And then we'll bring Jugulis because we talked about wanting to use that Pokemon. It has Protect, wait out TR. Gastrodon's probably okay here, but I'm not a big fan about Gastrodon into Bundle. It's just not something I'm a big fan of. I think Jugulis will probably be fine. One cool thing about the Arcanine, though, is that we have the Eject pack, so we can proc that ourselves with Overheat to pivot out if we want. So we can, like, KO something with an Overheat and then re-pivot back into something to wait out their Trick Room correctly. And then re-bring the Arcanine back in if we have to. So for our draft Arcanine, this is kind of what I expected. I'm surprised they're not leading with... I thought they had a Fake Outmon. They had a Iron Hands. I thought they would have went Hands Fargiraffe, but this works for me. I don't think there's an issue with trying to go... I think you actually just taunt here. And as weird as it sounds, like, you could Earthquake here, but we don't have to. I just Headlong Rush this Arcanine. I don't dislike this play at all. There's no reason to, like, make our Great Tusk have to, like, stay in and eat a Wisp, like, at all for any reason. And next turn we can just taunt it. So we taunt the Fargiraffe, next turn we can just, like, taunt the Arcanine. Or even just, like, pivot back out and Overheat and re-bring out Unintimidated. It's a much better play. The only thing that they have that stops this is Mental Herb Fargiraffe. And even if they do that, I still think we're going to be okay. Wisp blocked, boys. And they don't have Mental Herb either. Psychic. Dude, they woke up chose Violence, bro. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Let's see if they get Sped Up Drop. This is going to be great. Eject Pack's going to activate right now. And we're going to be able to bring back in our Great Tusk, but this time Unintimidated. We don't have any moves on this. We don't have any moves at all on this Talonflame that can hit right now. Like, if we had Flurry Blitz, this would be great, but we don't. I think we're just going to double dip our Ground Terra and go hard. And then we're just going to taunt the Arcanine slot. Because we can't Brave Bird right now because they have Armor Tail. And you still can't hit teammates with that either. So, good pivots though. Good pivots. That was a great use of Eject button. And being ready to capitalize on that situation if the situation presented itself. So let's see. They can pivot in a lot of different things, but if that Arcanine pivots out to want to be able to come back and intimidate, like, what are you switching in? King Gambit to eat a Ground Terra EQ? I don't think so, buddy. They're probably thinking, like, well, I'll just Wisp, right? And it's like, well, I already showed Taunt. Like, I'm just going to do it again. The right play is to, like, double dip into our Great Tusk, and now I just lost my Psychic weakness, so let's see how much damage you can even do. Your Arcanine might just get KO'd by this. And the reason we still have to Taunt, we could have technically Tailwinded, but I didn't know if I'd get the KO. And they could also, like, Grass Terra. So I like this play a lot better. It's much safer versus Terra. You can't Wisp. And they were faster than me. So I could have Tailwinded to avoid that. But again, like, I don't know if they were in a Grass Terra. So this was just a safer play. Next turn I can Tailwind if I feel like it. Big damage. Arcanine goes down. Now I don't even have to care. We crit the Arcanine. We take those all the way to the bank. We're rewarded for our correct play. And you can Psychic me if you want. Break that Sash. But it doesn't do that much. I lied, that's a lot. Are you Spexed, bro? That's an unbelievable amount of damage. Wow. This is gonna be Meowscarada. Oh, sorry. I'm incorrect. It is not. We could Tailwind here. They didn't get a booster, so, like, we can just go Tailwind to outspeed unless they're Scarfed. We would outspeed, I think. Yeah. Tailwind's up. Let's go. Alright. Big damage here. Show him what's up, Tusk. So far draft's down. Bundle is broken. And we still have the Brave... Now we can Brave Bird if they actually... Let's see what they're going after. If they Icy Wind, it's fine. Ice Beam! Huh. I've seen a lot of our people use an Ice Beam. It's a different calc than Freeze Dry, right? So they take this slot out. I don't think that you want to go Arcanine here. Because if we go Arcanine and they bring out King Gambit, that's not good. I think you want to go Jugulis and just, you know, hit him right in the Jugulis, right in the throat. Take the wins right now. Brave Bird seals up the... What is this? Hands. Cool. Talonflame has a Covert Cloak. So even if you fake out that slot, and yes, we would lose our Gale Wings, we still have the damage, and we still can go for Brave Bird. It's not priority boosted, but it's still good. So we just go for that big one right there. And I think in this situation, we can just go for Air Slash into the hands. Protect. They're trying to attack one of our slots. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like Thunder Punching / like Zing Zapping. Not Zing Zap. Wild Charge on our Talonflame. That's another reason why we wanted to use Air Slash. So Survey says... I could have wisped that slot too and just went after the other slot. I think I would have been probably a better play. Ooh, they hit the Jugulis. Okay. Poor Jugulis, dude. Unlucky. Talonflame's in a great spot, though. Like, we're going to be fine. I think Arcanine's going to be able to protect the Talonflame from being able to be O-code by a Thunder Punch. And then we'll probably be good. Turns on Tailwind R2. Let me check this Arcanine EV spread. 130. Arcanine should be outspeeding Bundled. Let me just look at my numbers. Because I'd rather just Heat Wave and then burn the hands. It's a lot safer. Yep, cool. So we just go for a Will-O-Wisp here. We just have to hit a Heat Wave. Cool. Wisp hits, nice. Alright. Alright, got it. Yeah, I think that's trashed the death. I think Heat Wave was good here, but normally you would have liked to see something else. Like, normally you would still want to see Will-O-Wisp. I mean, we could have just Brave Birded the Bundle and then Wisp the hands with the Arcanine. And what I was doing right there was just calcing to see, like, what outspeeds what does this, what does that. Might as well just go for a Brave Bird, and at this point we can just overheat. It's fine. Got them wins. Wins up. Teamwork's great. You can go Terra all you want, but, like, what Terra? Are you going to be Water Terra? What Terra do you have that stops this? Better late than never. Ground Terra. Okay, well, you still take neutral damage on both these fronts. They're probably going to go after the Arcanine slot with, like, a Stomping Tantrum this turn, but, like, Brave Bird plus Burn plus Overheat plus Ratio, don't care. You know, big damage, right? Let's go, Arcanine. Let's do this. Oh my gosh, so next turn. Let's see if they, like, rest. Dude, that would suck. EQ, yeah, we win. EQ hands, huh? Don't skip leg day, bro. Yeah, dude, Arcanine does not care at all. And we take those. So, really, really cool team. I think the Hydreigon and Iron Jugulis, like, core really does work. But there is some slight optimizations we're going to be able to take to some of these EV spreads, some of these movesets. And that's what we're going to take a look at next. What we're going to do next is taking a look at all of the EVs, all the moves that were submitted, tweaking them, cleaning them up just a little bit, and then explaining why we're going to be doing that, which is a really, really important part of the team building process so you guys can understand how to build your own better teams in the future. And then from there, we're going to play a couple games with it on Showdown. So let's go hop into that right now. All right, so again, here is the rental code for this team. You guys can add this rental to your own games and use this team. It's great. Like, I highly recommend it. It has all the tools you need. Talontusk is strong, multiple mons that you can pair with Earthquake, Gastron's a cool choice, Arcanine with the pivots. It's solid. This team's great. What we're doing right now is taking a look, though, and trying to polish up some of the issues that the team might have, being able to, like, potentially close out games. We're going to professional YouTuber extraordinaire move my webcam over here. And this is the Poke Paste that they sent me. I really like how deliberate they were with a lot of their EVs. This is a set that I've featured in videos before. It's a very, very good Arcanine set. Hydreigon is okay, but it can be optimized. Gastron can definitely be fixed a little bit. Great Tusk is about as good as you can be for Great Tusk because it's a Sash set, but I still think you should be Jolly. And then Talonflame, relatively same thing. We're going to explain why. Let's go back and start off with this Iron Jugulis. Now remember, the point of the Jugulis is to get a booster energy into speed. Realistically, well, I guess we should also just start taking a look at this. I don't think you need Charge Beam. I don't. I think this is way too much setup. And there's so many other good moves this thing gets. It gets Taunt, so you can lead double Taunt versus Mental Herb Mons. You know, in the last game we fought a Far Giraffe, and they didn't have Mental Herb. If they did, we probably would have lost. So maybe think about putting Taunt here. Another thing you can even do here, realistically, that I like, there's two options. You can go Tailwind here to give yourself a second Tailwind setter, or you can just put Flash Cannon here. This is one of my favorite sets, is Flash Cannon on this Jugulis, and you just delete their Flutter immediately. It's so good. I would highly recommend, instead of like going for like, you know, charge beams and trying to get the 70% procs and all that stuff, bro, just use Flash Cannon and just delete. Delete, delete, delete. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I love it. It's so good. A lot of the things that would block like Dark Pulses and Air Slash, you can hit those with Flash Cannon. So think about just trying the Flash Cannon. We also have the Steel. We're already there. We're already halfway there. Just give ourselves Flash Cannon. As for our EVs, and what we want to do with the rest of this, always be sure to set your EVs to level 50 when submitting these teams, just so, you know, because battles are going to be set at 50, and EVs work differently at, like, all the different levels. So EVs for level 58 are different from 50, and EVs at level 75 and level 100 are different than level 50. So be sure to set your EVs to 50. But back to this Jugulis, taking a look, we don't necessarily need to be full speed. We need to be just fast enough to where we still get the speed boost, and we need to think about what we actually want to outspeed with this Jugulis. If we take a look at, like, base speed stats, and we see what Jugulis outspeeds 108, where, you know, we don't need to really, like, worry about outspeeding things like Treads and Pyro, because they don't really exist. I think we scroll down, maybe you might want to worry about speeding Espathra, maybe Pawmot if you really want to. I think Garchomp, you actually have a really good match against Garchomp, so it doesn't really matter if you outspeed it or not. Sandy Shocks is what I would outspeed. So realistically, you want to outspeed Sandy Shocks. You'd like to outspeed Garchomp. You'd like to outspeed Pawmot. I think Pawmot's probably the best one because you would still buy proxy outspeed Espathra and everything else. So if we plug in Espathra right here, and this is like a speed boost at Espathra, right? That's the whole point of it, is like seeing what you need to outspeed in those situations. That would look something like this. So 172, so we need to get to 173 on this set, which means we can drop just a little bit out. And note that if we go to 173, we still get the boost into speed, right? So it's exactly, so we're finding just slight little ways, and realistically, it's just better to probably throw these points right back into HP. We have a high base HP, but like, just a little bit min-max. Just a little bit of min-max. If you want to put those into Spadef, you could as well, because we're going to be eating mostly special attacks with this thing. Things like Dazzling Gleams, things like Shadow Balls is a good switch-in for those targets. So, especially if you use Steel Terra, you can use those Dazzling Gleams very well. So you might just want to throw those right into Spadef, like full into Spadef, but this is a good EV spread, and I think it works great. As for this Arcanine, I think I built this Arcanine set, but I really would recommend putting Wisp here. You kind of need Wisp when you pair this with a lot of Mons, just so you can Wisp, soak some damage, Morning Sun. Like, this is what you need in the late game. We talked about it the last game that we won with Heat Wave. Heat Wave's cool, but like, you don't need Heat Wave. If anything, you would cut Wisp out this set and rely 100% on Will-O-Wisp from Talonflame and just put Protect on this Arcanine. But I think Wisp is still really good, and I think this is a solid EV spread for how to do it. There's nothing really wrong with this. I like the Grass Terra. It's solid. Poison Terra Hydreigon is something I'm not that big of a fan of, because there's so much like Psy spam going on right now. Yes, going Terra Poison makes it so you don't take the big damage from, what is it, from, you don't take the big damage from Fairy, but you take big damage from Psychic now. Realistically, because we're going to be playing Hydreigon on a team like this, I think you want to go Ghost. There was already a couple situations where I could have got Hydreigon, could have used Hydreigon a lot better if I was able to avoid Fake Outs. Being able to go Ghost to be able to block those is really good. Also, things that are good against Ghost, like Dark and Ghost attacks, they wouldn't be using that against the Hydreigon, and even if they do, those are usually special attacks, so we can block it as well. Ghost is just a solid defensive type, and I think this is a pretty decent spread. I like the Bulldoze here. Bulldoze is good. Flash Hand seems a little bit out of place if we're not going to be Steel, so if we're going to be cutting something, it's going to be this move. I like that you want to use Surf to power up the Gastrodon, so you can keep that as well. And we're going to come back to what we want this spot to be a little bit later. Let's take a look at the Gastrodon first. Gastrodon Fire Terra, that works with a Storm Drain, that's great. I do not think, though, that you need this Ancient Power. And if you're really needing Clear Smog for Dozo, so be it. You do have access to Will-O-Wisp, you do have access to a couple other different things, but if Clear Smog is your Dozo answer, what do you do when they go Steel? Like, you're going to burn it? So, like, it's burned already, it means it's already solved. You don't really need Clear Smog either. I think what I would do here is I would change a lot of this to something like Leftovers. And I would go like Protect, Yawn, and I would go Icy Wind here. This is just how I like to organize them as well, like Protects on top. I go Icy Wind. I still think Icy Wind's great. I think it's the best move this thing had. And Earth Power. The reason why you still want Earth Power is you need to be able to hit something after you get these boosts from the Surf, right? You need something to deal damage. You can even think about putting Muddy Water over like Icy Wind or something, but I think Yawn is very, very good on this Mon. And if we take a look at its EVs, you're doing something where you're putting like full investment in here to get to 120. There might be a slightly more optimal way to do that. So let's see if we were to use our nature here. Let's see if we can find a way to do that a little bit better. We're trying to get to 120. Because that's the number that you said that you, well, that's the number that you are looking to get. So 172 versus what we had before was 113, I think. 113, all right. And so what would happen if we took the rest of these points and just put 84 here? It's the exact same, so it doesn't really matter. You can keep it exactly the same. But I do think you don't need this much HP investment in Gastrodon. And I do think that you want a little bit more speed to outspeed other Gastros. So what I would do is probably just take a little bit out of HP in that situation and go 236. Just because you want a little bit more speed to outspeed other Gastros. You can either be like a 0-speed Gastro or Gastro with a little bit of speed to be able to bully things, and I think it's going to be able to bully things a lot better. Another thing about this Gastrodon spread is after like 2 Icy Winds, you can outspeed some weird Mons, and you might just want to keep that in mind. So I think it's a pretty good spread. Again, let's put this back the way it was, because basically it doesn't matter. They're the same number, so it's fine. Actually, did we find a way to get one more point? We had 120, right? That's fine, doesn't matter. It's basically the same thing. But basically, you usually want to put your nature in your highest stats, but in this situation, since we're so heavily investing in it, it's usually a good idea to just put your nature right there and make your nature do a bunch of the heavy lifting. As for the Great Tusk, EV spread's great, but I think you still have to be Jolly. The reason why you want to be Jolly is because it forces like Arcanines to have to be Jolly as well. They want to Wisp you, and they have a higher base speed, but if they have like some sort of calm, careful, bold, impish, adamant defensive nature, offensive nature, they have to have a speed boosting nature, otherwise you come in hot here. Another thing you could do is make yourself like adamant and take some out of speed and maybe put like a life orb on it and be a little more aggressive, but I think with how you're running this with a Sashmon, you're so much safer being Jolly. If you want to be adamant, that's completely fine, but I think that you're better safe than sorry in that situation. Being burned is no fun, so I would go like this. You could always say like, but I have Talonflame to taunt, but then like, what if they have like a redirection Mon, you know, like, or what if X, Y, Z different things? I think you're just better safe than sorry. It also works better in the Great Tusk mirror matchup late game if you have to like close out a match versus an opposing Great Tusk. Jolly's just a really, really good nature on this guy. As for Talonflame, you may think that you could probably take some of this points out of speed, because if we compare Pokemon that Talonflame is already faster than, going to be things like Meowscarada, right, is something that you're faster than with Talonflame. You're faster than Kilowatt by 1 point. You're faster than Weavile and Meowscarada by a couple as well. You might as well just still be full speed, because you're going to be speed creeping things that speed creep Meowscarada by 1 to 2 points. And so, by proxy, still outspeeding Kilowatt by 1 point and Weavile at 1 point. 2 Mons have decent matchups against you. It's fine to just be still full speed on this thing. That being said, you don't need to go both Ghost and Covert Cloak. I think that's actually really important to note. I do not think there's a reason to go Ghost and Covert Cloak. What I would do on this set if it were me, we're not using an orb yet, and people 1000% sleep on the Brave Bird damage. I think you need Taunt with how this team is being played. I think you don't need Wisp now that Talonflame, or now that Arcanine's on deck, and now that you made yourself potentially faster than their Arcanine. So you could cut Wisp, right? And at that point, I don't even like Taunt on Talonflame. It's so telegraphed, but like it did win us the game. So if you're comfortable with Taunt and Talonflame, keep it. But I don't think you need Ghost at this point. What I would do probably is just change this to flying so you can get those weird scenarios where you can get that double dip on your Brave Bird. That's what I would do. Another thing, if you want to play a little bit more defensive, you could make this into a ground type to just be able to block hands. Just so you don't die to hands like once. That works. I would still go with the Flying Terra though. Being able to like Revenge KO for really, really big damage is nice. So I would go Flying here. And so we're going to go back to this Hydreigon and think about what we want this last spot to be. Let's sort it by special. I don't think there's a problem with going Draco there. I really don't. Earth Power is another good one. I don't think you need Heat Wave since we're not heavily investing in any stats. Let's take a look at some of our EVs, by the way. So we were talking about our EVs. We're heavily investing in each of these stats. If we're going to take the nature away from here, the nature looks like it's giving here 122 to 130, so that's 12. Let's see what we would get to if we just use nature up there. We're trying to get to 130. All right, so 68 versus like 180. 133. That seems like a... Is that the same number? Let me find out. Give me one sec. Where's the Patreon? Where's the post? Let's take a look and see if we actually found a way to get some more stuff out of it. All right, so the set was 134. So yeah, by doing it the way that I just had it, you're probably actually losing a point. So, case in point, always follow your gut here. All right, so that means you had it. I'm sorry, let's go fix this. Even I make mistakes. That's the whole point of like learning these cows. So I'm just gonna copy paste this set back over and then go back over and fix it. But yeah, even I make mistakes, and it's usually better to like heavily invest with points into like wherever you're going with your nature, because you want to let your nature do most of the work. It's 10%. It's pretty important. In this case scenario, this seems like a pretty decent EV spread. I just don't really like the flash cannon here. I'm just not a fan of it. I think realistically I would go Draco here to make yourself actually have something to do against other dragons. Like we already talked about how like something like a Roaring Moon could give us a lot of issues. And if they don't Terastallize away, they had to Terastallize away so we could take it out. This makes it so they actually have to Terastallize it away, and then we still have the win even when they do. So I would put the Draco there. You could think about putting Dragon Tail there to stop Trick Room in some niche situations, because not there, because I like the Bulldoze here. You could think about putting Dragon Tail here to be able to Dragon Tail out like Far Giraffes, Dragon Tail out like Orangurus, other weird Trick Room setters that aren't Fairy type. That's definitely an option, so maybe think about that. And yeah, team looks great. EV spread's fine here, by the way. Last thing I would recommend is going 12. So this would go to a 240 and any +1 calcs being 180, being able to outspeed Mousehole by 1 point. So something like that could actually work very, very well. And I would just take the points out of this. So I would do something like that. This would get the 1 point from the, from the Icy Wind, you'd get the +1 calcs to be able to outspeed things like Mousehole and stuff at +1. So this is basically the fixed team, and we're gonna go play some games and see how it does. Here we go. It's a pretty strong team. I think Grimmsnarl is better than I want to deal with, but I'm gonna play super defensive with like, I think Hydreigon Arcanine's great versus that sort of core, and I think Jugulis might be able to come here maybe. Jugulis is good. I think mid to late game Talonflame's good, and believe it or not, I actually think like Great Tusk is still really good here. Earthquake hits those guys hard if we can get that speed control. You want to have Talonflame in the back for this. You don't always need to weed Talonflame. You can definitely save it in the back. So Pincurchin, Grimm, this is really, really passive. I think this is such a passive board. What are they going to do with it, though? Thunder Waves? They get Thunder Wave Arcanine? I think we can just go Snarl here. Snarl's so weak, though. You don't need to Snarl any of these. We could pivot in Great Tusk and Overheat. I don't mind that. I'll stay for 1 turn. This is really passive, but we don't need to do anything spectacular. We could have Ghost Terra'd there. Could have went for that Ghost Terra, and we miss a Wisp, of course. And we get hit with the Chilling Water and forces us out. This is so unlucky, but it's fine. Chilling Water is weird, but we're going to be able to pin that super, super hard now. We still want to go for a Snarl to be able to break Sashes, and I'm going to double dip the ground. I want that Pincurchin gone. And you can bring out whatever you want. Next turn I can just Protect, Hard Switch, and Talonflame, get a Tailwind up. Reflex fine. We should still get the KO on the Pincurchin. The Snarl should be enough to do it. Got it. Cool. Yeah, we did not want to eat that Chilling Water. Did not want to lose our Sash. And imagine that Grimm was burned. We've been in such a good spot here. So, Quark Drive, speed boosting it. So, in this situation, we can't get around it with Bulldoze. I think that Snarl here is okay with a Protect, and the next turn we switch around. We don't need a Draco first. We want to probably Snarl first just to make it a little bit weaker. Draco would not get the KO either. We gotta kind of soften it up a little bit. Because they're going to go for probably a Light Screen here. And an attack into... It doesn't really matter who they attack. There's a Light Screen. Hydro Pump blocked. Man, they Hydroed knowing full well we potentially have a Gastro. That is crazy. Special attack dropped. Alright, so we could switch in either of these. I think you just Snarl again. I think we're going to try and switch in the Arcanine. Because it's just not as important in this part of the matchup. And then, even if they KO the Arcanine, we're going to be able to bring in Talonflame, and then Talonflame can finish up Bundle from there. Yep, doesn't get the KO because we got that special attack drop. That's what we like to see. Another one. I wonder if Draco can take it out from there. Spirit Break. Special attack drops. Unfort. Okay, so you can take out either of these right now. Actually, I don't mind losing any of either of these mons, because we can just go Tailwind and Earthquake to finish off. As long as we can do some damage to maybe Grim, where we're going to be fine. We're going to collect the Bulldoze. Who's faster? 120, 119. So we're actually going to have to hit our Arcanine with the Bulldoze. That's fine. Cool. We want to be able to Bulldoze to make it so we can actually still outspeed that thing, because now it's at neutral, right? Spirit finishes off. Awesome. So what they think we're going to do is probably go Tailwind EQ. What I'm going to do instead, imagine that Grim would have been gone already. That Grim would have actually just been gone. We still need a Tailwind, but I think we just close combat into the Iron Bundle to get it off the board. I don't know if we actually get through it with this ground Terra or ground EQ. We might. I'll do it. It's fine. I think it's the right play. Yep, there's the hands coming in on an EQ. Yes, please. Thank you. Big damage. 4%. Unlucky. Hydro the Talonflame does not get the KO. Okay. So Talonflame's going to get fake outed probably. But I think we got the tools to be able to deal with this. I think we just go for the Wisp into the hands. And we just go for another EQ. If you fake out here. No, that means we have to do it like. We have to go Brave Bird here. I don't want to do that, but it's fine. You can only fake out one. Okay. You can only fake out one. Fake out that one, that's fine. And we just go EQ. And then we just EQ the Grim in the back. So pretty good stuff. I think that was a pretty... I think they have a slight shot coming in foddering Grim. Okay, and then they could have sent out Bundle, brought back out the Bundle, protected, and went for like a freeze dry, but we're sashed. So we would have had... They would have had a 10% chance to freeze us. And they could have played that just a little bit better. They would have foddered the hands, foddered the Grim. But we should be able to get it now, and in this situation, you might as well just Headlong Rush. Fake up breaks our sash, but like we're going to be fine. That was the last turn of the Reflect, right? Yeah. And that's it. So we're going to take those wins. I think the team played great. I think the slight changes that we made to the team are pretty important. You can see like Hydreigon Arcanine is a very, very, very standard opening. You get an Intimidate up, you have potential for double Snarls and a Will-O-Wisp. If you hit it, you have potential for a little bit of speed control too. It would be nice to see Protect on Arcanine, but you can always pivot up that Arcanine for a Flyer and go for a Bulldoze to enable that Flyer to potentially outspeed something on the subsequent turns. It all sets up for Great Tusk to clean up, and that's what I really, really like about this team. Great Tusk plays a lot like a Garchomp, and I would say think about using Garchomp, because Garchomp is really cool too. A lot of people are moving on to the Great Tusk train. I really still like Garchomp, but yeah, I think this team plays great, and we didn't get to use the Ghost Terra on the Hydreigon this game, but you definitely saw a couple situations where it might have almost worked, and this game would have been even easier to win if we hit that first Will-O-Wisp. So that's basically all we have for this one. Don't forget to think about just adding the rental code that they sent, because it's still a really good rental code. If they make any changes to the rental code, maybe we'll have it on Patreon or something if you want to use the updated version. But very, very cool team. Thank you to everyone that's actually submitted teams. You guys are freaking amazing. I think we got about 12-ish so far. I'm doing my absolute best to get through all of them as soon as possible. Even the lowest tier Patreon gets access to submitting these teams. I'm going to do my best to make a video for every single team that's submitted. And it's thanks to you guys that I'm able to have this as my day job where I work on this stuff full time. So thank you everyone that actually supports on Patreon. It does mean a whole heck of a lot. And for those of you guys that like this series, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you guys, the question of the day, do you guys like macaroni and cheese or pizza more? That's the question of the day. Don't forget to answer that question if you guys got this far in the video. And other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out, and I'll see you guys next time.